What's the best way to see Japan? Some would say by Shinkansen bullet train or maybe by hiking its many mountains and trails. But I believe that the ultimate way to experience this country is by taking a motorcycle road trip across it. And I want to tell you why. Hey guys, it's me from my channel. I've been living in Japan for 5 years now and have traveled all over the country. So I have some tips for anyone who wants to go on a motorcycle tour through Japan and make the most out of their trip. First things first, why choose touring around Japan on a motorcycle? Well, Japan is known for having great roads. It's frequently ranked as one of the top countries for motorcycling in the world. Also, the country has an excellent highway and rest stop system. And as a motorcyclist, this is exactly what you need for a long-distance trip. You'll never be far away from somewhere to refuel and take a break. Plus, Japanese highways are safe and well-maintained. Another reason is because they're just beautiful. Many of them are built alongside rivers and through forests, so you get some amazing scenery. The best time of year for a cross-country motorbike adventure is from April to October. The weather is nice, and there are plenty of roads to choose from. Now, how do you even get a motorcycle in Japan? There are a few ways to go about it. The easiest way is simply to rent one. There are many rental shops around big cities, but you will need an international driver's license and most likely a credit card to rent a bike here. If you don't have an IDP, you can get one at any post office. It costs $13 and takes about 3 days to receive. Just make sure to apply for one well in advance before coming to Japan. In addition to the IDP, you'll also need a Japanese translation of your driver's license from your home country. To get this, you'll have to send your driver's license to an apostille certification office in your country and then have the document sent to Japan to be translated. This part can take a while, so start the process early. The next option is to bring your own bike to Japan. If you want to do this, you'll have to research shipping companies and figure out the cost. Then once your bike arrives, you'll need to pay a temporary import tax of $38. Also, if you plan to race down the Tosa no Eki Y road, you'll need to bring a helmet with a face shield. Now, the last way to get a motorcycle in Japan is to buy one. For this option, you'll need a special large displacement motorcycle driver's license, which is called a Class 2. And you'll also need to pass a written test and practical test for this license. However, you can take the test only in Japanese, which means you'll have to study the language a bit. If you're interested in buying a motorcycle, I suggest checking out the websites of used bike shops like Yahoo, Auctions, and Bike Trader. Next, let's talk about planning your route. For this tip, I'm going to be using an online map service for motorcycles. You can filter the map by type of road, elevation, scenery, as well as nearby services like gas stations and restaurants. Using this map, you can efficiently plan your route without having to sit down with a giant atlas or scroll through Google Maps for hours. One website that I use often is called Route, and it has a lot of different options to choose from. It also has great blog posts that talk about things like where to stay and where to eat along certain routes. Also, Road and Travel has a great guide on how to read the maps used in Japan, which is helpful if you want to buy a physical copy. For accommodation, there are many options to choose from. If you're on a budget, then try to stay at capsule hotels or business hotels. These are clean and comfortable places to stay that will help you save money. Another option is to camp. Japan has plenty of campgrounds to choose from. You can check them out on a camping reservation website. If you prefer to stay outdoors, there's also the option to glamp. Glamping is a combination of glamour and camping, so you get the experience of sleeping outside while still being able to enjoy some luxuries. There are plenty of places to glamp around Japan. There's yurts, cabins, and even tree houses to choose from. So look online for your preferred method of glamping. Last but not least, there are plenty of guest houses and minshuku to choose from around Japan. A minshuku is a traditional Japanese-style inn that provides tatami flooring, futon bedding, and shared bathroom facilities. Staying at one of these places is a great way to experience Japanese culture. No matter what option you choose, just make sure to reserve ahead of time, especially if you're traveling during peak season. On average, it costs $100 to $200 per night to stay in Japan depending on where you decide to stay. But keep in mind that prices vary greatly depending on location and the time of year. Tokyo and other major cities will cost more than staying in a rural area. So keep that in mind when choosing where to go. Next, let's talk about safety. One thing I want to point out right away is that Japan is one of the safest countries in the world. it's consistently ranked at the top when it comes to safety and security. So, you don't really have to worry about things like violent crime or terrorism here. That being said, you should always keep your wits about you when traveling anywhere in the world. Another thing to keep in mind is that Japanese roads can be very curvy and winding, especially in the mountainous areas. Make sure to drive slowly and carefully, and never drink and drive. Japan is serious about drunk driving, and you will face harsh penalties if caught. Moving on to etiquette, I want to talk about something that is unique to Japan, and that is the concept of iki. Iki is a Japanese word that is difficult to translate into English, but it essentially means manners and consideration for others. When you're on the road, it's important to remember that you are sharing the road with other vehicles and pedestrians. So please be courteous and respectful to them. Don't speed or drive recklessly, and always signal your intentions. Also, if you're camping, make sure to leave the campsite clean and tidy after you're done using it. Lastly, when you're on the road, it's important to be aware of the cars around you. Japanese drivers can be very aggressive, and they tend to drive very close to each other. So, make sure to stay focused and be prepared for anything. When it comes to making the most out of your ride, there are a few things to keep in mind. First, make sure to take lots of pictures and videos. You'll want to remember this experience for years to come, so capture as much of it as possible. Another thing to do is to try to interact with the locals. Japanese people are generally very friendly, and they'll be happy to help you out if you need it. So don't be afraid to strike up a conversation with them. Also, if you're interested in Japanese culture, make sure to visit some of the shrines and temples that are located throughout the country. Japan has a rich history and culture, so take advantage of the opportunity to learn more about it. Last but not least, make sure to try some of the local cuisine. Japan has some amazing food to offer, so don't miss out on it. Be sure to try things like sushi, ramen, and tempura. There are plenty of other delicious foods to try too. So go explore and find your favorites. If you're looking for a truly unforgettable adventure, then I highly recommend taking a motorcycle road trip across Japan. With its beautiful scenery, delicious food, and friendly people, you are in for a ride of a lifetime. Just be sure to plan ahead, be safe, and make the most out of your experience. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in Japan soon.